At the start of the drama, we see the male lead, Han Sheng, who is going to college on his bicycle. Just then, a girl brings a cake for him, but he ignores her and leaves. And at that moment, he bumps into the female lead, Jiandan. The girl tells Han Sheng to take the cake, and Jiandan says to him, "You knocked me down, so at least you should say sorry to me." But Han Sheng thinks they are both in on this. He tells them, "This is both of your plans, isn't it? First of all, I don't like sweets. And I don't need to say sorry to you either." He starts to leave, but he bumps into Jiandan again, and Jiandan bumps into the other girl, causing her cake to get on Han Sheng's clothes. He gets very angry at both of them. He leaves after telling them both, "After today, neither of you show me your faces again." Then Jiandan comes to her room and meets her roommate, Mi Fen. When Jiandan introduces herself, Mi Fen takes out some cards and tells her to choose one. She chooses a card, and seeing it, Mi Fen says, "Your luck is quite bad today. You must stay away from water." So Jiandan tells her, "Yes, you're right. I fell into the water as soon as I arrived, and my bag got dirty too." Then Mi Fen introduces herself. They are both very happy talking to each other, and Jiandan gives her some snacks she brought from her village to taste. Just then, their third roommate, Tang, arrives, whose cake was ruined today because of Jiandan. Jiandan talks to her very nicely, saying, "You are our roommate," but Tang behaves very rudely with her. Just then, Jiandan gets a message from a boy named Shan, who calls her to the pool to get his book. Jiandan had bought that book online. Seeing the message, she immediately leaves from there. Then we see Han Sheng, who is changing his shirt in the swimming pool room when his friends Yuan Sen and Shan arrive there. Seeing the cake on his shirt, Shan says, "You brought cake and didn't even tell me." Han Sheng was already angry. He tells him, "I didn't bring any cake, and don't even talk about cake in front of me." Then he puts on his swimming costume and leaves from there. Seeing this, both of them are very surprised because Han Sheng is very afraid of water. Han Sheng comes near the swimming pool, and then he starts remembering some flashback scenes of him drowning in water with another person. Because of this, he gets scared and does not go inside the pool. Just then, Jiandan arrives there. Seeing her, Han Sheng says, "What are you doing here? Don't you know that strangers are not allowed in the swimming club?" So Jiandan says, "You're the one who called me here." Because she was thinking that he was Shan, she sees a math book lying there and picks it up. But Han Sheng starts taking the book from her, saying, "Don't touch my books." In this way, their fight over the books starts. Shan and Yuan Sen are standing far away watching who Han Sheng is fighting with. Just then, while fighting, Jiandan accidentally pushes Han Sheng into the pool. When he falls into the pool, Jiandan sees that he is unable to swim, so she immediately jumps into the pool to save him. At the same time, Shan and Yuan Sen also come to save him. They pull him out of the water. He is unconscious. Jiandan starts giving him CPR to bring him back to consciousness when a person secretly clicks pictures of both of them. After he regained consciousness, Jiandan finds out that Han Sheng is the president of the swimming pool. She understands that she fought with him for no reason, thinking he was Shan. Han Sheng tells her, "Even if it all happened by mistake, don't wander around me again." Then Han Sheng's friends take him to the clinic. After this, we see that the swimming pool photo of Han Sheng and Jiandan goes viral throughout the school, and everyone starts talking a lot about them. Meanwhile, Yuan Sen and Shan are also talking after seeing those photos. We should do something quickly. What will happen if Han Sheng finds out? Just then, Han Sheng arrives there. So Shan says to him, "What did you come here to do? You should be resting right now." He says, "I'm fine. So I came for a walk. But what are you guys talking about?" But Shan is not telling him anything. So he asks Yuan Sen, "You tell me something. I heard you were talking about some post." Hearing this, Yuan Sen shows him the post. Han Sheng gets very angry after seeing that post because everyone was talking about him. How can he drown in the swimming pool? There wasn't even that much water there. Who made him the president here? Seeing all this, he gets very angry and leaves. Then Shan scolds him, "You shouldn't have shown it to him." Then we see Jiandan, who writes an apology letter to give to Han Sheng. Just then, she gets a message from Mi Fen and leaves. After she leaves, Tang comes into the room and smiles upon seeing the letter, meaning she was going to mess with it somehow. The next day, Jiandan gives the letter to Shan to give to Han Sheng. But Han Sheng is not taking the letter, so Shan starts reading it out loud to him. But as he opens it, he says, "You were right, we shouldn't read this letter." Han Sheng says, "What's written in it? Show me." Shan refuses, but he forcibly takes it and starts reading. In the letter, there was a photo of Han Sheng drowning in the pool. It said, "You deserve this." Seeing this, Han Sheng gets even angrier. Jiandan had joined Han Sheng's swimming club. After the other members leave, Han Sheng makes her do a lot of workouts, which makes her very tired. Han Sheng says to her, "You got tired so quickly. You said you would make a place for yourself in the swimming club, but you gave up so soon." She thinks to herself, he is not training me. He's bothering me. But I can't leave. I need credit for next semester's scholarship, which means I have to stay in this club. Then she finishes her training and leaves from there. Han Sheng says, let me see how long you can last here. Jiandan is taking a shower when Tang comes and replaces her shampoo with a bottle of color. Because of this, color gets all over her hair, and she comes out screaming, "Who did this to me?" Just then, she notices that Tang was sitting with a book upside down and laughing at her. Jiandan asks her, "You did all this, right?" But Tang denies it. "I didn't do anything." Jiandan sees color on her hand and becomes sure that she did all this. Mi Fen also tells her, "You shouldn't do such things." But Tang is still making excuses that she didn't do anything. In the next scene, we see Li Shi, who is Han Sheng's friend and works in a cafe. Just then, Han Sheng and Zhishan also come there. After some time, they are all sitting there and talking when Jiandan comes there. She had completely changed her hairstyle and was looking much cuter than before. Seeing her, Zhishan says, "Look who this cute girl is." "Oh, this is Jiandan." Hearing this, Han Sheng also turns to look at her and keeps staring. Jiandan has come there to meet Mi Fen, who also works in this cafe. Han Sheng's friends are praising Jiandan, saying that she looks very cute, but he says, "Have you guys gone mad? How does she look cute to you?" In the next scene, we see Han Sheng and Li Shi in the library. Han Sheng is sitting with a math book and solving questions. Just then, he writes a question in that book, which he is unable to solve. Li Shi says, "This is a new question from the math magazine. Are you taking the challenge to solve it?" To this, he says, "Yes." Li Shi says, "You solve it. I have some work, so I'm leaving." Han Sheng also has to go with him, so he leaves the book there without solving the question. After they leave, Mi Fen and Jiandan come there. Jiandan picks up the same book that Han Sheng was just holding because she is also interested in math. In that book, she sees the same question that Han Sheng had written. She starts solving it. Mi Fen says to her, "I don't understand why top students like you enjoy solving math so much." Jiandan says, "Let me solve this, then I'll tell you." Then Mi Fen falls asleep while sitting there. Jiandan solves the question. Just then, she gets a message from Han Sheng. He tells her to clean the second floor of the swimming club. When Jiandan goes to the swimming club, she sees that there is a lot of stuff kept there, which makes her a little worried. Meanwhile, Han Sheng comes to the library with Li Shi to solve this question. But as soon as he opens his book, he sees that the question is already solved. He is very surprised to see that. Li Shi says, "It looks like a girl did this because her handwriting is very good." Then Han Sheng writes another question in that book. Li Shi says, "Do you think that girl will come again to solve it?" He says, "The first time I wrote a question, it was A level, which is easy. But this time the question I have written is S level, and not everyone can solve it. In fact, some people won't even understand it. If she is a true math lover, she will definitely solve it." He writes the question and puts the book back in the same place. When Han Sheng comes to the swimming club, he sees that Jiandan has fallen asleep there after cleaning. He wakes her up and tells her to come to his office the next day. The next day, when Jiandan goes to the office, she sees some broken pieces on the floor which look like they belong to a trophy. She picks them up to look at them. When Han Sheng comes there and thinks that she broke the trophy, he gets very angry at Jiandan. She explains, "I didn't break this. It was already broken when I came here." But he doesn't believe her. He bumps into her in anger, causing Jiandan's phone to fall. She picks it up and sees that it's not turning on. So Han Sheng says, "I'll pay for it." But Jiandan says, "I don't want the money. I didn't break your trophy. You can think whatever you want." Saying this, she leaves in anger. Just then, Zhishan comes there and asks him, "Who broke this trophy? Is everything else okay?" He starts looking at the other trophies and finds a concert ticket there. Seeing it, Han Sheng understands that the person who left this ticket is the one who broke the trophy. Zhishan asks, "Who could it be who left the ticket here?" So Han Sheng says, "We'll find out at the concert tonight." Then we see the night scene. Han Sheng comes to the concert and starts looking for the person who left the ticket for him. Just then, Jiandan arrives there. Her seat is right next to Han Sheng's. They are both very surprised to see each other. Han Sheng says, "I thought it was you." So Jiandan says to him, "What are you talking about?" So he says, "Stop this drama." Jiandan says, "Why are you showing me so much attitude? Don't tell me you think I came here to watch the concert with you." Then the concert starts. Jiandan starts feeling sleepy, so she rests her head on Han Sheng's shoulder and falls asleep. Han Sheng pushes her away once or twice, but when she doesn't move, he lets her sleep like that. After the concert ends, Han Sheng is waiting for a taxi, but he can't find one. So Jiandan gives him a lift on her bike. But she is riding the bike very fast, which scares Han Sheng, and he starts shouting, "Drive a little slower. You're doing all this on purpose, aren't you?" After this, they both reach the hostel. Han Sheng says, "I didn't like this ride at all, but thank you anyway. And after today, never give me a concert ticket again." So Jiandan says, "When did I give you a concert ticket?" Han Sheng says, "Stop acting. I found the ticket under the same trophy that you broke." Hearing this, she understands everything. That Tang did all this because Tang was the one who gave her the concert ticket. She gets very angry at Tang now and tells Han Sheng, "I didn't give you that ticket. And anyway, I don't have that much extra money to waste on these things." Then she comes to the room and talks to Tang about this and asks her, You were the one who left the ticket in Han Sheng's office, right? And when his trophy broke, you gave the other ticket to me so you wouldn't get caught. But Tang is still busy lying and tells Jiandan, I didn't do anything. What proof do you have that I broke the trophy? Jiandan says, the fact that Han Sheng has the same ticket is the biggest proof. No matter how much you deny it, now Han Sheng and I know that you broke the trophy. And I also know that you were the one who changed my apology letter. It's fine if you don't like me, but what's the need to do all this? In the next scene, we see that Jiandan will come to the library instead of going to the swimming club because she has now decided, I will leave the swimming club. And she has told this to Han Sheng as well. She is in the library when she gets a call from her grandmother, but she is unable to pick it up because her phone is broken. After this, she calls her grandmother from the reception phone. She is talking to her when Han Sheng also comes there. After talking, Jiandan comes and sits in her chair and starts looking at her phone. Seeing her, Han Sheng feels bad that Jiandan's phone broke because of him. After this, he brings a new phone for her. He calls her, but her phone doesn't connect. So he gets Tang's number from Zishan and calls her. Tang gets very excited seeing his call and asks why he called her. Han Sheng explains, I need to talk to Jiandan. So Tang very angrily gives her the phone. Han Sheng tells her, if you want to leave the club, first write me a withdrawal letter of 30,000 words. Jiandan says, how will I be able to write so many words? But he hangs up the call. Jiandan thinks, I've already left the club, so why does he want me to write a letter? Mifen says, maybe he's gone mad. When you go to meet him, take me with you. We'll both talk to him. The next day, she comes to give the letter to Han Sheng, but he says without looking, this isn't right. Write it again. Jiandan says, you haven't even looked at it. How can you say that? But he doesn't listen to her at all and says, if you don't write it correctly, I won't approve your request to leave the club. Then Han Sheng gives her the phone, saying, I broke your phone last time, so take this. Jiandan refuses, but he somehow convinces her and gives her the phone. After this, she comes to the library, picks up the math book, and solves that S-level question. Then this goes on for a few days. Han Sheng comes every day and writes a question, and Jiandan solves it, but neither of them knows about the other. Jiandan had chosen the math department, but Mi Fen tells her the professor there is very strict. He fails most of the students. The passing rate for students is only 5%. So Jiandan says, there's no need to worry. The passing rate is 5%, right? So I'll pass. Then we see Li Shi's friend, Gwen Tong. Li Shi has thrown a party in celebration of her arrival. Han Sheng and Jiandan are also there. In the next scene, Jiandan and Han Sheng are in the professor's class. The professor explains, we are going to do an assignment for which you will be given grades that will be added to your final grades. Especially those who don't have a scholarship will have to pay more attention to these grades. The professor forms groups for everyone to complete the assignment. Han Sheng and Jiandan are in the same group. Jiandan says to him, out of so many people, did I have to be your partner? Han Sheng says, you're talking as if I was dying to be your partner. Han Sheng asks what topic they are going to do the assignment on. Jiandan explains, I will conduct a survey on the university students' point of view regarding romantic relationships, meaning she will survey all their thoughts on relationships. Han Sheng asks why they will do all this. So she says, didn't you listen to the lecture? The topic of the assignment is real-life mathematical probability and statistics for which we have to do this survey. Then he leaves telling her, you decided on this topic, so you will also prepare the related questions. The next day, Jiandan gives him the questions she has prepared. Han Sheng asks, did you make all this yourself? She says, yes, who else would make it? Then they both come inside. Jiandan requests some students to fill out the form, but no one was paying attention to her. Everyone was ignoring her. This makes her upset, and she sits down and says, why is no one interested in this? So Han Sheng says, you don't know how to do anything. Jiandan says, oh, if I don't know how, then you try it. Saying this, she gives him the form. Han Sheng gives her his camera. He says, you should record. She doesn't know how to use the camera, so he starts teaching her. She puts the camera down and stands in front of it herself, saying, we can record like this. Just then, a boy bumps into her and she comes close to Han Sheng. Han Sheng tells her, be careful, don't break my camera. He starts getting the forms filled and many girls fill out the forms. Jiandan tells him, all these forms have been filled by girls. So he says to her, what can I do if girls like me so much? Jiandan makes a face and says, we need to get boys to fill out the forms too. Just then, he calls his friends over. Jiandan gives them the forms to fill out. So Zishan says, you called us here for this? Jiandan says, yes. Then they both start filling out the forms. They have to write answers to the questions about relationships. Seeing this, Jishan says, to answer all these questions, one needs a girlfriend too, because he is single. She gives the other form to Yuan Sen. Jiandan explains, we need one more boy. So Han Sheng starts filling out the form himself in his place. Gwen Tong asks him, what do you think about soulmates? So Han Sheng says, a soulmate should be someone who understands everything about us. Whatever we think or do, they should know everything. a person who knows you well. So Zishan says to him, "You are talking about your mom, and after her, Gwen Tong knows the most about you." Hearing this, Gwen Tong starts smiling, but Han Sheng says, "That's not all. A soulmate's hobbies should also be the same, like math and swimming." Hearing this, Jishan says, "You're talking about Jiandan. She is just like you." Han Sheng doesn't say anything to this, so Gwen Tong feels a little jealous. Then, while leaving from there, Jiandan is telling him, "Our presentation is on Monday. You should prepare the slides." So Han Sheng says, "You won't be able to give a good presentation, so you prepare the slides and I'll give the presentation." Jiandan has no other option, so she agrees to his words. Going home, Jiandan is watching the video of herself and Han Sheng when Tang comes there and gets quite jealous seeing Han Sheng with her. Then Jiandan starts making the presentation slides. After completing it, she sends it to Han Sheng and goes to the washroom. After she leaves, Tang comes and sits there when Jiandan gets a message from Han Sheng. He writes, "Delete some data from the presentation slides," but Tang deletes the message so that Jiandan doesn't find out about it. The next day is their presentation. Han Sheng stands up to give the presentation, and Jiandan goes and opens the video. As soon as Han Sheng sees the slides, he immediately goes and pulls out the pen drive. And coming in front of the mic, he tells the professor, "I remember the presentation, I'll give it without the slides." Jiandan gets very angry seeing this. He completes his presentation and the professor gives him a C grade because it was a team project in which both slides and presentation were important. Han Sheng had given a very good presentation, but there were no slides, so they got a C grade. But Jiandan was upset about this and was about to argue with the professor. But Han Sheng takes her aside. Jiandan asks him why he didn't use the slides. So he tells her that there were errors in them. Then he shows her a video on his phone and explains, "If I hadn't turned off the slides, we wouldn't have even gotten this C grade." Hearing this, Jiandan feels a little bad and leaves from there. She comes home and Mifen says to her, "How can Han Sheng blame you for all this?" Jiandan says, "It was my mistake, so what can be done?" Mifen says, "If he knew there were errors in the slides, he could have fixed them or told you to fix them. But he didn't do that, so it's all his fault." Jiandan says, "Let it go. There's no point in arguing about these things now. Now I have to think about my next semester's tuition fee because I'm not going to get a scholarship now." Then Jiandan comes to Li Shi's cafe. She needed a part-time job, but Li Shi tells her, "If you want a job, you can talk to Han Sheng about it." Gwen Tong is also listening to their conversation. When she finds out that she is going to talk to Han Sheng, she stops her and says, "You need a job, right? I'll get you one." Hearing this, she becomes very happy and hugs her. After that, she gets Jiandan a job at a restaurant. The next day, there is a party at the hotel. Jiandan is serving drinks to everyone there. She has worn a mask so that no one can recognize her. Just then, Mi Fen comes and starts talking to her. Jiandan asks in surprise, "How did you recognize me?" So she says, "I can recognize you anywhere." Then Jiandan starts doing her work when Han Sheng also comes there. He was about to take a drink from Jiandan's tray, but when Jiandan sees him, she runs away from there without giving him a drink. Seeing this, Han Sheng feels a little strange. So he tells the boss, "Tell that girl to come and serve me a drink." The boss tells Jiandan to serve Han Sheng a drink and to apologize to him. But before serving him the drink, she puts hot sauce in it. Just then, a waiter hands her his drink and leaves because he was having a stomachache. Now, among all of them, Jiandan gets confused about which drink has the hot sauce in it, so she starts tasting every drink to check. While doing so, the boss sees her and scolds her. He also warns her, "If you do something like this again, I will fire you." Upset by this, Jiandan is standing there when Han Sheng sees her without a mask and says, "I was just thinking why this waitress is so rude." Jiandan is very angry at that moment. Han Sheng asks her if she needs money. That's why she is doing this job. She's about to say something to him when a person there says, "Who mixed spicy sauce in this Coke?" Hearing this, she gets scared, and Han Sheng understands that she did all this. After this, Jiandan is fired from the job. Coming outside, Han Sheng says to her, "Did you mix that spicy sauce for me?" Jiandan says to him, "If you hadn't complained about me to the boss, I wouldn't have lost my job." And she leaves in anger, saying, "Stay away from me now." The next day, Jiandan learns from the professor in class. Students who write papers and get them published will be given bonus credits this semester, but the paper must be submitted within a month. She is happy to hear this because if her paper gets published, she will get extra credits, which might get her a scholarship. After this, she starts writing the paper, which is not at all easy. Jishan and Li Shi see her, so Jishan says, "She works so hard, you should help her." They get an idea. Jishan goes to Han Sheng with the papers and says, "I have made a farewell party proposal." Han Sheng asks, "Who is it for?" So he names Jiandan and says, if she doesn't get the scholarship, she will have to leave from here. But if you want, you can help her. Then Han Sheng goes straight to Jiandan and gives her some tips, because of which Han Sheng's paper had also been published several times before. Jiandan says, this is very good. You have written everything very well. Han Sheng says, if you want to learn all this, then come to the cafe at 5 o'clock every day. I will give you coaching. Jiandan asks, why do you want to help me? So Han Sheng says, I am also responsible for the error in those slides. Instead of messaging you, I should have fixed them myself. So Jiandan asks in surprise, did you message me? But I didn't see any message. So he shows her his phone, where he had indeed sent a message. But when Jiandan checks her phone, there is no message, which surprises both of them. But then they don't pay much attention to it. Jiandan says, let's leave it. I'll come to the cafe on time. The next day, when Jiandan comes, Han Sheng gives her a pen drive and tells her that it contains all the topics. Then Jiandan starts her work, and Han Sheng leaves from there. Then, by the next day, Jiandan completes her thesis. Han Sheng submits the thesis for approval. Jiandan becomes happy, and when Han Sheng goes to the washroom, she looks at her phone, which Han Sheng had given her. She finds out that it is brand new. Just then, Li Shu comes there, and, seeing the phone, says, this is a new model, it's very difficult to buy. Then, while leaving from there, Jiandan transfers money for the phone to Han Sheng. He asks why she transferred money to him, so Jiandan says, this is for the phone. This is all I have right now. I'll give you the rest later. He doesn't say anything to this. Then Han Sheng is in the library, and he writes a question in the math book and puts it back. Then Jiandan comes there and solves that question, and she writes in the book. This theory is from the Theory of Numbers book 2022 edition, which is an advanced mathematics book. Seeing this, Han Sheng is surprised and goes to the library to find that book. But the book is not in the library. He also asks his friend about that edition, but they are also unable to find the book. Li Shu says to him, why don't you ask the girl who comes every day and solves your questions? She must have that edition. Just then, Zishan starts asking him, aren't you curious to know who that girl is? To this, Han Sheng says nothing. The next day, he puts a note in the same book in the library, writing, I can't find that book. Can you give it to me? If yes, let's meet in the library today at 7 p.m. The next day, Jiandan was going to the library to give him the book. Today, they were going to meet for the first time. Mi Fen was going with Jiandan to sell some of her dolls because she needed money. But her phone's battery dies, so Jiandan gives her her phone. Meanwhile, Han Sheng and all his friends are at Li Shi's cafe. Li Shi asks him, you're going to meet that girl today, right? The one who is a math genius. So Gwen Tong asks him, who else could be a math genius besides Han Sheng? Jishan says, that girl is no less. And then he tells Han Sheng, be a little careful there. Don't fall in love at first sight when you see her. I've heard this happens to people who talk online. To this, Han Sheng says, I'm not going on a blind date for you to say that. Gwen Tong feels a little jealous and insecure hearing their conversation. Mi Fen and Yuan Sen are in a cafe when the boy who was supposed to buy dolls from Mi Fen arrives. After giving him the dolls, Mi Fen leaves saying, transfer the money, and she forgets Jiandan's phone there. Han Sheng and Jiandan have both reached the library, but they haven't seen each other yet. Just then, Han Sheng gets a call from Jiandan's number. The boy says, your friend forgot her phone here. Come and get it quickly. Han Sheng says, I have some work right now. So the boy says, if you don't come, I'll take this phone with me. So Han Sheng leaves from there. After he leaves, Gwen Tong comes there and, seeing Jiandan and the math book in her hand, understands that she is the girl who solves Han Sheng's questions. Meanwhile, Han Sheng reaches the boy to get Jiandan's phone. Seeing him, the boy says, who are you? I thought you were the boy who came with her just now. So Han Sheng asks about that boy. He says he was quite tall and handsome. Maybe he's her boyfriend. Then that boy gives the phone to Han Sheng and leaves. Han Sheng was a little upset. Just then, he checks Jiandan's phone and finds that it's not locked. He sees a contact in her phone with 3 hearts on it. Seeing this, he starts to think if she really has a boyfriend. Then he sees another contact named Landlover. Landlover means an unfamiliar person. Han Sheng checks, and it's his own number. He feels a little bad seeing this. Meanwhile, Jiandan is still waiting for Han Sheng in the library, but when he doesn't come, she leaves a note in the book with her number and says, call this number to get the book. But after she leaves, Gwen Tong takes out the note and gives the book to another boy. Han Sheng was coming from there when he meets Jiandan on the way. He asks her, are you coming from a date? So Jiandan says, how do you know? But it wasn't a date. We were going to meet for the first time today. He asks, don't you know anything about him? So Jiandan says, I do. He is very good at math and his handwriting is also very good. Han Sheng is about to give her her phone when a call comes from the number with 3 hearts. Jiandan takes the phone and walks away to talk, which makes Han Sheng feel even worse. He thinks that Jiandan really has a boyfriend. In the next scene, we see that all the members of the swimming club play a game where everyone has to write their wish and put it in a box, and whoever picks someone's wish has to fulfill it. Everyone writes down their wishes. Han Sheng was solving a question. When Jishan goes to ask him his wish, he says, "My wish is to completely solve this question." To this, Jirishan says, "Whoever picks your wish will surely go mad." And unfortunately, Jirishan himself picks his wish. He gets very angry at this and says to Han Sheng, "Who asked to solve a math question for a wish? That's why he doesn't have a girlfriend." Hearing this, Han Sheng says he's saying it as if he has a girlfriend. After this, when Han Sheng picks a wish, he gets Jiandan's wish, which makes him smile a little. Jiandan's wish was, "I want to meet my math pen pal," meaning she wants to meet the person with whom she shares notes. Meanwhile, Jishan somehow switches wishes with Jiandan from Han Sheng. Now the math wish comes to her, and she goes to the library with it. After some time, Han Sheng comes there and, seeing Jiandan from a distance, says, "Are you really that girl?" Then he goes to her and sees that she is solving his wish question. So Han Sheng says, "You can't solve this easily." Jiandan asks him what he came here to do, but he doesn't say anything and sits there. Then Jiandan goes to the washroom. He takes her math book and starts looking at it when a call comes on Jiandan's phone from that 3-heart number. Han Sheng rejects the call several times. Since the person keeps calling, he finally picks it up and discovers it's not her boyfriend, but her grandmother. He becomes very happy after finding this out. Just then, Jiandan comes there and he gives her her phone. Her grandmother asks Jiandan, "Who is the boy who just received the call? Is he your boyfriend?" So she tells her, "No, I don't have a boyfriend." She makes an excuse and cuts the call, then says to Han Sheng, "Why did you pick up the call? Now she thinks you are my boyfriend." Han Sheng says, "That means you don't have a boyfriend." So she explains, "Yes, I don't." "Who told you I have a boyfriend?" Han Sheng says, "You were the one who told me yesterday that you were coming from a date." So she explains, "I just went to meet someone. It doesn't mean I was on a date." Then Jiandan comes home. She still didn't know that Han Sheng was her math pen pal. Meanwhile, in his room, Han Sheng is looking at his wish question and the question solved by Jiandan. Their handwriting is the same. He was now sure that Jiandan was his math pen pal, which made him very happy. The next day, they find out in class from the professor that Jiandan's papers have been approved for publishing. This makes Jiandan very happy. All this happened because of Han Sheng's help, so Jiandan takes him to dinner as a treat. There, Han Sheng asks her, "Have you met your pen pal?" So Jiandan says, "No, he invited me, but he didn't come." Han Sheng asks, "What kind of person do you think he is?" Jiandan says, "He is very smart, intelligent, and a serious thinker. Along with that, he is also a very questionable character." Then, while coming from there, Jiandan likes a pair of shoes. She starts looking at them and finds out that the shoes are on sale, and if she doesn't buy them today, someone else will. But Jiandan didn't have enough money at the moment. Hearing this, she gets a little upset. The next day, many people come to Han Sheng's club, including some children. Jiandan was handling the children, but one of the girls goes missing. She goes to look for her and finds the girl sitting by the pond. Jiandan goes to her and sees that she was clicking pictures of ants. Just then, Han Sheng comes there. So Jiandan makes the girl stand aside and starts talking to Han Sheng herself. He asks, "You were with the children, right? Then what are you doing here?" Jiandan explains, "I was with them, but one of the girls was missing, so I came to find her." Just then, they hear the girl screaming. Jiandan looks back and sees that she had fallen into the pond. Han Sheng and Jiandan both run to save her, but Han Sheng stops near the pond because he starts having the same flashbacks in which he was drowning. Remembering that scene, Han Sheng starts having panic attacks. Just then, Jiandan jumps into the water and brings the girl out. Just then, the teacher comes there. Jiandan had injured her leg while jumping into the water, so Han Sheng takes her to the clinic. There, the doctor tells Jiandan to rest for a week. Then, Han Sheng takes her from there on his bicycle. The next day, when Han Sheng was leaving to pick up Jiandan from college, Gwen Tong pours water on her laptop to stop him and asks him, "Do you know any repairman?" Han Sheng says, "Yes, I know one, but I don't have time right now." So she starts acting, "I had to submit my paper tomorrow. Now I don't know what I will do." To help her, Han Sheng messages Jiandan saying, "I have some important work, so I won't be able to pick you up today." Meanwhile, they both come to get the laptop fixed, and it takes a lot of time. To spend time, they come to a dessert shop. Gwen Tong chooses a pastry. Han Sheng says, "You go and sit. I'll bring it." She sits on the seat, and he clicks a photo with Han Sheng and posts it. When Jiandan sees it there, she gets very angry. Just then, she gets a call from her grandmother, and she starts talking to her. The next day, when Jiandan comes out, Han Sheng is standing outside to pick her up, but she starts to leave, ignoring him. Still, Han Sheng comes to her and says, "Let me hold your bag." So she refuses to give him her bag and also says, "From now on, you don't need to pick me up." He asks for the reason, and Jiandan explains, "You've been very busy lately, so I don't want to bother you. And anyway, my leg injury is healed now. Saying this, she leaves, and Han Sheng stands there thinking, what happened to her all of a sudden? Then Jiandan comes to the doctor with Mi Fen. The doctor tells her, the injury is healed, but you still need to be careful for a few days. Mi Fen tells her, you got this injury while helping Jiandan. He even said he would take full responsibility for you, then how can he leave you like this? Jiandan says, he has other work to do, so I don't want to bother him. Meanwhile, Han Sheng comes to the library and finds out that the math book in which he used to write questions for Jiandan has been returned to the library by that boy. He leaves a note in the book, writing, sorry, I couldn't meet you next time, but can we meet again? He also writes his number in it. When Jiandan sees the note and the number, she says, this number looks familiar. Just then, Mi Fen comes there with coffee, which accidentally spills on the note. Jiandan was about to call the number, but because the coffee spilled, the last digit of the number was erased. Mi Fen starts apologizing for this and says, leave your number in this book for him. He'll call you when he sees it. Jiandan does the same. Meanwhile, in the room, Zhishan is shouting, I hate exams. Li Shi tells him, you should study instead of playing games, then you won't hate exams. Zhishan asks Han Sheng for help with the exams, so he explains, I have booked a study room in the library, so we will go there from tomorrow and prepare for the exams. Hearing this, Zhishan becomes happy. After this, Han Sheng starts looking at his phone. He was waiting for Jiandan's phone call because he had left his number in the book, but he doesn't get any calls. The next day, Mi Fen and Jiandan are sitting and studying in the library when Han Sheng also comes there with all his friends. Zhishan asks Mi Fen to join them because they had also come here to study, but Guentong is not at all happy to see this. Then they all sit and start studying. Yuan Sen solves a question for Mi Fen, which makes her happy, and she says, you made it so easy. Yuan Sen says, if you understood it, I'll give you my notes. I have made notes for this. Hearing this, Zhishan starts teasing him and says, this is the first time you've talked so much to someone. Yuan Sen doesn't say anything to this and gets up from there and starts going outside saying, it's very noisy here. At the same time, he also takes some of Mi Fen's things, which is why Mi Fen also goes after him. Guentong asks Han Sheng a question, and he starts explaining it to her. During this, they both get a little close, which makes both Li Shi and Jiandan feel bad. Han Sheng tells everyone, you all must be very tired from studying. I'll get coffee for you all. Guentong was about to go with him, but he asks Jiandan to go with him. They both leave, and seeing this, Guentong gets a little upset. When Li Shi notices this, he makes something cute out of paper to cheer her up, which makes her smile. Meanwhile, Han Sheng and Jiandan have come to get coffee, but the lights go out, so they both sit in one place and start talking. Han Sheng tells her, you just said that you know your pen pal because of this math book. Aren't you curious to know who he is? Jiandan says, yes, I want to know. He left his number for me, but it got ruined. I can't see the last digits. So Han Sheng says, try 132. At first, she makes a face, wondering how he knows. But then she tries it, and Han Sheng's name appears on it. Jiandan says, are you my pen pal? He starts smiling at this. Jiandan calls, and Han Sheng's phone starts ringing. Now both of them have found out that they are each other's pen pals. The next day, Han Sheng comes to the shop to buy the same shoes that Jiandan liked. He takes them and is on his way to Jiandan's room when he sees an old lady whose documents have fallen on the ground. He helps her pick them up. She is Jiandan's grandmother, but Han Sheng doesn't know this yet. Then the grandmother starts asking him for directions to the girls' hostel, so Han Sheng says, haven't you called your granddaughter? Because this campus is very big, it will be difficult to find. So she explains, I want to surprise her, and she is in the psychology department. Then Han Sheng goes with her to help. The grandmother sees his shoes and says, did you bring these for your girlfriend? So Han Sheng says, she is not my girlfriend. We are just friends. So the grandmother says, but you like her, right? You just haven't told her yet. He doesn't say anything to this. Meanwhile, Jiandan is in her room when she gets a call from the village doctor. He says, Grandma came to the campus to meet you. She must be about to reach. When she meets you, let me know. I'll come to pick her up. She is happy to hear this and calls her, but her number is not connecting. This makes Jiandan a little worried about her. Meanwhile, the grandmother was very happy with Han Sheng. She says, it's very difficult to find boys like you in today's time. If you didn't like your friend, I would have definitely introduced you to my granddaughter. When she came here, she joined the swimming club, and the president there takes great care of her. She is very nice. Our whole village likes her. Han Sheng is a little surprised to hear this because he himself is the president of the swimming club. Just then, Jiandan comes calling for her grandmother. Seeing this, Han Sheng understands that she is Jiandan's grandmother. He says Jiandan's name, so the grandmother asks, how do you know her name? So he tells her his name, and also that I am the president of that swimming club. Hearing this, the grandmother is also very happy. Jandan comes and hugs her grandmother, and then Han Sheng gives her the shoes and leaves. Jandan comes to the cafeteria with her grandmother to eat. Han Sheng also comes there with his friends, and after they all eat, they take a picture together. After this, the grandmother is going back to the village, so everyone comes to see her off. Jandan then remembers the document she had picked up. It said that her grandmother has a heart failure condition. He talks to her grandmother about this. He tells her, "You came here not just to see Jandan, but also to see the doctor, right?" She asks, "How did you know about this?" Then she tells him everything and says, "Keep this hidden from Jandan and take care of her." Han Sheng says, "I won't tell her anything, but you take care of yourself." Then the village doctor comes there with his car, and the grandmother leaves with him. Then we see Tong, who gets quite jealous, seeing the photo of Han Sheng with Jandan and her grandmother, and calls Jandan to talk about something. She tells her, "Han Sheng proposed to me. I like him too, but I don't know how to start a relationship because we've been just friends for a long time." Jandan gets upset hearing this. She then says, "I once saved Han Sheng's life, and since then he has been a good friend of mine. You study psychology, right? So tell me, should I move forward with this relationship?" Jandan says, "I don't have any experience, so what can I say?" Then all of their exams start. After completing the exams, when everyone comes out, Jishan says, "Finally, we are free now." Li Shu says, "Looking at you, it seems your exams went very well." Just then, he sees Jiandan and Mi Fen there and calls out to them. But Jiandan leaves with Mi Fen. This seems quite strange to them. But Tong says, "Maybe they have some important work. Let's go celebrate somewhere." Then they all leave. Meanwhile, Mi Fen is asking Jiandan, "Why are you ignoring Han Sheng? Did you two have a fight?" But she doesn't tell her anything. Then Tong tells Han Sheng, "I have to buy a shirt for Li Shi. You come shopping with me." So he goes with her. But he brings Li Shi there as well without telling Tong and leaves them both there. When Tong and Li Shi are coming out after shopping, Jandan and Mi Fen also see them. Some girls are calling Li Shi Tong's boyfriend. Hearing this, Jandan thinks, when did she start dating Li Shi? Did she leave Han Sheng? After this, she goes to Han Sheng. She looks from outside and sees Han Sheng wiping his tears with a tissue. Jandan thinks, why is he crying? She goes to him and starts asking, "Did you have a breakup? Why are you crying?" So Han Sheng explains, "How can I have a breakup? I haven't even dated anyone." At the same time, he gives her his food to eat, which is very spicy, and that's why tears were coming from his eyes. Then Jiandan says, "If you didn't have a breakup, then forget what I just asked you." Saying this, she leaves. After this, she talks to Mi Fen. "I just met Han Sheng. He said that he and Tong are just friends. But Hong told me that she is dating Han Sheng. Why did she tell me that?" So Mi Fen says, "Don't you understand? She is jealous of you, that's why she said that." Mi Fen liked Yuan Sen and wanted to confess to him. That's why she asks Jiandan for help. Jiandan books Li Shi's cafe for their confession. The owner of the cafe tells her, "Usually boys get decorations done here to propose to their girlfriends, but you are the first girl to do so." She tells him, "I am doing this for my friend." So the owner says, yes, all girls make this excuse. When Li Shi finds out about this, he thinks that maybe Jiandan is going to propose to Han Sheng, and that's why she has done this decoration. He tells this to Han Sheng as well. Han Sheng is very happy in his heart to know this. Then Jiandan and Mi Fen complete the decorations together. Li Shi clicks their picture and sends it to Han Sheng. Han Sheng also immediately leaves from there. Tong also finds out that Jiandan is going to propose to him. The decoration was almost complete. Whatever little work was left, Mi Fen gives it to Jiandan and goes to get ready. Just then, Han Sheng comes there, so Jiandan asks him to help her. But Han Sheng is looking at everything there, thinking about how Jiandan will confess her love to him. Has she written a letter? Just then, he presses a button, which makes all the balloons they decorated fly away. He is very happy to see this and says, "This beautiful decoration was for me." Jiandan gets very angry at him. She was about to shout at him when he says very sweetly, "There's no need to say anything more. It's a yes from me." Just then, Mi Fen comes there and starts shouting at them. "What have you all done? You started this before I came." She tells Jiandan, "Help me fix everything before Yuan Sen arrives." Hearing this, Han Sheng says, "What does all this have to do with Yuan Sen?" Just then, he sees the photo of Mi Fen and Yuan Sen there, and his misunderstanding is cleared. Just then, Yuan Sen also comes there and seeing all this says, "Did I come at the wrong time?" After this, Mi Fen confesses her feelings to him. Yuan Sen is about to say yes to her when they hear the sound of a photo being clicked. They go after the photographer to catch him because Yuan Sen is an idol, but no one knows his real identity yet. That's why he doesn't want anyone to click his picture. Everyone starts running after the photographer, but he manages to escape. Going home, Mi Fen says, "I arranged everything with so much difficulty, but it was all ruined because of that photographer." On the other hand, Yuan Sen sees the photo that was posted on social media, and everyone was saying bad things about Mi Fen. She doesn't deserve a handsome guy like Yuan Sen. But after this, Yuan Sen himself proposes to Mi Fen in front of everyone, and finally, they become an official couple. The next day, everyone is gathered for the New Year's party. Mi Fen explains, I have brought some cards for everyone. Whatever is written in the card, that person has to do it. Mi Fen's card said, you have to go into a boy's arms and make him do squats, which Yuan Sen does for her. Jishan's card had dance written on it, which he hides. But Li Shi forcibly looks at his card, and he has to dance. Jiandan's card had a question. Has she had her first kiss? So Jishan says, now don't say that your first kiss was with Han Sheng, because they had accidentally kissed once. Jiandan says, why should I answer 2 questions? Hearing all this, Gwen Tong starts getting jealous again. Then Han Sheng checks his card. It says, kiss a person sitting on your left or right. Seeing this, Han Sheng is shocked because on one side of him is Gwen Tong and on the other side is Jiandan. And he chooses Jiandan. Jiandan is very shocked. Han Sheng says, I can't kiss in front of everyone here. So he takes Jiandan outside. He was about to propose to her. Jiandan thinks, is he really going to kiss me? So she was stepping back when her foot lands on a switch, and the lights there turn on, and at the same time, a video of Han Sheng's swimming competition starts playing. Han Sheng was a swimmer before and has won many competitions. But after an accident, he started to fear water. Jiandan is surprised to see the video, then gets upset. Jiandan had planned all this to motivate him to enter the swimming competition again. Jiandan says, no matter what, you shouldn't give up on your dream. But Han Sheng gets angry. He says, who are you to interfere in my matters? Stay away from these things. Saying this, he leaves and Jiandan also gets upset. Just then, Gwen Tong comes there and starts smiling upon seeing all this because she was the one who told Jiandan to do all this. Going home, Jiandan is very upset thinking about Han Sheng's words. Jiandan was also sadly wandering on the beach because he also felt very guilty after speaking rudely to Jiandan. Then their winter vacation starts. Jiandan comes to her grandmother. The grandmother is very happy to see her. Just then, a parcel arrives for them, which Han Sheng had sent. When Jiandan opens it, it contains medicine for her grandmother. Seeing them, Jiandan understands about her illness. She asks her grandmother, what is all this? Are you sick? She explains, yes, the doctor told me I have a heart condition, but it's not very serious. I'll be fine by taking this medicine. Jiandan says, why did Han Sheng send this? Does he already know about this? Her grandmother explains, yes, he knows, and I told him not to tell you. Jiandan tells her to rest and does all the household chores. Then she comes back from there for a job, but she doesn't have a place to live because she didn't have money to pay rent. That's why she starts working part-time at a car repair shop. One day, Han Sheng comes there to pick up Li Shi's car and sees a Jiandan working there. He looks around and sees that all the other people there are boys because girls didn't work in such places. So he tells her, if you need money, I can help you. Jiandan doesn't take his help. Han Sheng also tries to explain to her, this job is not right for you, but she doesn't listen. A little later, Han Sheng comes there with a contract for a house cleaning job. He says, this house belongs to my aunt who has gone abroad. I need someone to clean that house. But Jiandan thinks he is doing all this to help her, so she doesn't agree. But still, he leaves the contract there and goes. After he leaves, a person comes there and tells Jiandan, 2 more boys are coming here tomorrow, so you'll have to share your room. So move your things a little to the side. As soon as Jiandan hears this, she changes her mind and goes and signs the contract. Han Sheng was standing outside, and the person who had just gone to Jiandan was sent by Han Sheng himself. Han Sheng brings her to his aunt's house. Then Jiandan cooks for him, and they both sit and eat together. Han Sheng asks, since when have you been cooking? So she explains, when I was 10 years old, my parents died in an accident. Grandma's health wasn't very good either, so I learned to cook. In the next scene, Han Sheng is at a restaurant when he sees it written there, spend the first snowfall with the person you love. After seeing this, he immediately runs to Jiandan to meet her. They both watch the snowfall together and then come home. In the house, Jiandan sees a photo in which all of Han Sheng's friends are together, including a boy named Nan Yuan. Jiandan asks about him. Who is this? Han Sheng explains, he was my best friend who is no longer in this world. We grew up together, but because of me, he drowned in the water and died. Since that day, I have stopped going into the water. We are shown in a flashback that Han Sheng, Nan Yuan, and Gwen Tong are together. Han Sheng has to go for swimming, but Nan Yuan refuses because the weather was bad. But still, Han Sheng goes forcibly, so Nan Yuan has to go with him, but then the oxygen in their oxygen cylinder starts running out, and they both faint there. Just then, Gwentong comes there and saves Han Sheng, but Nan Yuan goes deeper into the water and dies. After hearing all this, she says sorry to Han Sheng because she didn't know all this. After this, Jiandan's grandmother gets very sick. Han Sheng was going somewhere with Gwentong to volunteer, but when he finds out about her, he leaves her and comes back from the way. After the operation, the doctor says her condition is much better now, but she will have to be kept under observation for some time. After that, she can go home. Jiandan comes to her grandmother and Han Sheng goes out to pay the bill. The grandmother says, every year we used to celebrate Chinese New Year well, but this time, because of me, you and Han Sheng won't be able to. She says, I will send Han Sheng home, and as for me, it doesn't matter to me. We are together, that's enough, but I feel bad that I won't be able to see the fireworks this time. Han Sheng, standing outside, hears all her words. When the grandmother falls asleep, Han Sheng takes Jiandan outside, and at that moment, the fireworks start there. And Dan is very happy to see this. After this, their college starts. This time, another girl was going to shift into Jiandan's room, who was none other than Han Sheng's same aunt in whose house Jiandan had been living until now. But she was of the same age as them. Han Sheng comes to drop her off at Jiandan's room. There, he notices a photo of Jiandan and her grandmother, and finds out that Aunt Shen is going to be Jiandan's roommate. The next day, Shen comes to the climbing club and says, I want to meet the president here. So Jiandan says, I am the president. Shen shows her her resume to join this club. Her resume is very attractive. She has won many awards in international climbing competitions. Seeing all this, Jiandan and the rest of her club members are happy because they needed someone like that for their club, who has so many awards so that they can get funding. Jiandan accepts her into the club, but Shen says the wall of this club is too small and this rope is very weak. Then she leaves, saying, I don't want to join the club. Everyone tells Jiandan, why did she leave? If she joins the club, we won't have any problem in the evaluation. You have to convince her somehow. Jiandan is a little worried because she doesn't even know where she will meet Shen. Thinking this, she comes to her room and finds out that Shen is her roommate. She is a little surprised to see this and then starts requesting her to join the club. She says, please join our club. It will get us funding. Then whatever problems our club has, they will all be fixed. Shen says, okay, but I have one condition. You compete with me in climbing. If you defeat me, I will join the club. She accepts the challenge. Then Shen comes to Li Shi's cafe. Jishan and Han Sheng are also there. Jishan tells her, I heard you challenged Jiandan in climbing. You are a pro in climbing, and she has just started. Yet you are challenging her? This is just bothering her. Shen says, what happened to you? Why are you defending her? So Jishan says, I am not defending her. I just don't like unfair things. Han Sheng says, Jiandan has worked very hard for the club. If she comes last in the evaluation, the club will be closed. So Shen says, that's her problem. The next day, Jiandan is practicing climbing. Shen was standing behind, watching her. Seeing her work so hard, she is a little impressed. The next day is their competition day. Shen is climbing up quickly. Jiandan is also doing quite well, but is behind Shen. Due to some important work, Han Sheng couldn't come here today. So Jishan was clicking pictures of both of them and sending them to him. A couple of times while climbing up, Jiandan's foot slips, but finally, she wins. Everyone is very happy for her. Shen tells her, I couldn't defeat you, so I will join the club. Jiandan says, your arrival will increase our club's ranking, so I want you to be the coach of our members. But Shen starts to leave without saying anything. At this, everyone gets a little upset, but then she says, everyone come on time from tomorrow. I am very strict as a coach. At this, everyone is happy that she has agreed. From the next day, Shen starts training all those members. She makes them train a lot, which makes everyone tired, but she still doesn't stop. On top of that, she also taunts them. You all don't have a stamina. How will you compete with others? After that, when Jiandan comes there, the members start complaining about Shen to her. She is making us train too much. We can't do so much training. She made us train for 6 hours straight. Jiandan tells them, I will share your problems with Shen, but you all should also understand that whatever she is doing it for us. She wants to improve the club, and she says very nice things about Shen, which Shen, standing behind, also hears and smiles. The next day, Shen comes for training, and no one is there. She thinks that maybe everyone has quit training because of her, so she starts to leave. But just then, all the members come there with a cake for her, because today was her birthday. They all celebrate her birthday together, which makes her very happy. Then we see Han Sheng, who is looking at a pendant that he had bought for Jiandan. Just then, Jishan comes there. They are both talking when they hear noise from the climbing club. They go there and see that everyone is celebrating Shen's birthday. Cake gets on both of their faces too. While cleaning it, the pendant from Han Sheng's pocket accidentally falls on the table where Shen's gifts were kept. After this, they all party, where everyone drinks quite a lot. Han Sheng was very drunk, so Jiandan goes to drop him off. In the taxi, due to being drunk, he starts getting very close to Jiandan. He's about to kiss her when the taxi brakes, and due to the seatbelt, he goes to the other side. The next day, when Shen opens all her gifts, she finds the pendant. She thinks, who gave me this pendant and what is written on it? Jiandan was right there with her, so she tells her. It says Hypatia, who is a Greek mathematician. Hearing this, Shen understands that Han Sheng must have given it. She says, I gave him my gift list and he gave me this. Jiandan says, it's quite nice, didn't you like it? Shen says, if you like it, you can have it. She puts the pendant on Jiandan. When Han Sheng sees the pendant around her neck, he thinks that last night in a drunken state, he had given the pendant to Jiandan and confessed his feelings. Han Sheng asks her, did I do anything strange yesterday? Jiandan says, yes. He asks, did you agree? To this also she says, yes. So Han Sheng gets the misunderstanding that Jiandan has accepted his feelings, but Jiandan was talking about his cute antics. Then he says, let's go get something to eat. They are about to leave and Han Sheng repeatedly tries to hold Jiandan's hand, but he is unable to. When she is about to leave from there, he holds her hand. Jiandan asks, do you have something to tell me? He is about to say something when he gets a call from Shen and finds out that Jiandan got the necklace from Shen. When Han Sheng comes back, Jiandan is waiting for him to say something. But now Han Sheng's misunderstanding has been cleared, so he doesn't say anything. Jiandan comes home and Mi Fen tells her, a pottery farm has opened nearby. They let people do pottery for free, so why don't we go there? After this, they come to the art studio and start making pottery. Mi Fen and Jiandan have made matching couple mugs, and Shen has made a plate. Seeing her mugs, Mi Fen says, this is you and Han Sheng, right? Jiandan says, not at all, I just made something random. But they both start teasing her that she made this for Han Sheng, right? You are going to give this to him. At this, Jiandan starts smiling. Just then, a corner of the mug breaks, so Jiandan gives it to be fixed. Shen was understanding their feelings, so she thinks, I should do something to bring Han Sheng and Jiandan closer. She talks to Jishan about this. They both like each other, but no one is confessing their feelings. Then they both make a plan so that Han Sheng confesses to Jiandan. Then she brings Jiandan to a mixer-type club event that is going to happen tonight. Jiandan asks her, why did you bring me here? She explains,
to find a boyfriend. There's an event happening here where single people can find partners. Jiandan says, I don't need a boyfriend. I'm leaving from here. Shen stops her and says, I brought you here to find a boyfriend for myself. Now Jiandan has no option, so she stays there. Then Shen starts clicking Jiandan's photo with the mixer post to show Han Sheng. On the other hand, Jishan comes to Han Sheng with the same couple mugs and says, can you give this to Jiandan? She needs it for the mixer event tonight. Han Sheng is surprised to hear this. He also shows him the photo of Jiandan with the poster. After this, Jishan messages Shen and tells her, Han Sheng has left from here. He will be here soon. That's why Shen also makes an excuse of going to the washroom and leaves from there. After she leaves, Han Sheng comes there and angrily throws the bag with her mugs, saying, Jishan told me to give this to you. Jiandan asks, why are you so angry? So he says, were you in such a hurry to find a boyfriend that you came here? On top of that, you even prepared this gift. Jiandan tells him, I came here with Shen. At the same time, she was about to say, this gift is for you. But she doesn't say it. She throws the bag right there and leaves. Seeing this, Han Sheng says, don't you want this mug? Then he looks at the mug and understands that it is for him, and he goes after her to convince her. Han Sheng goes to her and says, this mug is for me, right? Jiandan says, why should I tell you? Who are you to know? So Han Sheng says, I am your boyfriend. At this, she smiles a little and says, when did I become your girlfriend? Han Sheng says, since you accepted this token of my love. So Jiandan asks, was this for me? So he explains, yes, this was for you from the beginning. It accidentally went to Shen. After this, they finally become a couple and leave from here holding each other's hands.
The next day, Han Sheng tells everyone in his club as well, we are both dating. Hearing this, all the others are happy, except for Gwen Tong. Just then, Jishan looks at Jiandan's eyebrows and says, what happened to your eyebrows? You look like Shinchan. Because while doing her eyebrow makeup, Jiandan had messed up her eyebrows. The next morning, Jiandan comes to his office to give Han Sheng breakfast. But Han Sheng is not there. Gwen Tong is sitting there. She asks her, are you looking for Han Sheng? So Jiandan explains, I just brought breakfast for him. She leaves the breakfast for Han Sheng and goes out. After she leaves, Gwen Tong throws the breakfast she brought in the dustbin and leaves. A little later, Jiandan realizes that she gave the wrong packet, so she comes back to the office to change it and sees her breakfast lying in the dustbin. She understands that Gwen Tong did all this. She goes to Gwen Tong and directly asks, why did you throw that breakfast in the dustbin? So she starts lying, I didn't do anything like that, and starts to leave, so Jiandan says, what will you say about that video? You knew very well that Han Sheng would get angry after seeing Nan Yuan's video, but still, you gave me that video saying that Han Sheng would feel good after seeing it. You did all this deliberately. I am going to tell Han Sheng this right now." Hearing this, Gwen-tong gets scared and starts her drama. She goes to the swimming club and pretends to drown in the pool. After this, Han Sheng gets a call that Gwen-tong is admitted to the hospital. Then we see Gwen-tong, who is in the hospital. Jishan and Li Shi are there. Gwen-tong tells Li Shi, "There's medicine in my bag. You give it to me." Li Shi looks, and it's depression medicine. Just then, Han Sheng also comes there and says, "How long have you been taking this medicine?" She tells him, "For a year." Han Sheng thinks, maybe all this is because of the Nan Yuan accident. Han Sheng asks her, "Why didn't you tell me about all this?" So she says, "I am just like you. I haven't been able to get over what happened with Nan Yuan. I always have scary dreams in which Nan Yuan asks me why I saved you and not him." Then Han Sheng calls Jiandan and tells her about this. Mi Fen asks Jiandan, "How is Gwen-tong now?" Jiandan explains, "She has regained consciousness. Han Sheng is with her in the hospital." Just then, Shen tells her, "How did they find out about her depression at the same time you and Han Sheng started dating?" Jiandan also starts getting worried thinking about this. The next day, Gwen-tong's report has arrived. Han Sheng and Li Shi ask her what the report says, so she lies that it's mild depression, whereas the report is completely normal. Han Sheng asks for the reports to see, but she doesn't give them. Then Han Sheng calls his dad and contacts a depression specialist doctor so that he can treat Gwen-tong. After this, whenever Han Sheng goes to spend time with Jiandan, Gwen-tong calls him to her with some excuse. Mi Fen and Shen are talking to Jiandan about this. There is something wrong with her depression. Ever since you two started dating, she always comes between you. Just then, Jiandan explains, "I just saw Gwen-tong taking depression medicine, which looked exactly like vitamin C medicine." Mi Fen says, "That means she is faking her depression." So Jiandan says, "Don't say that. I could be wrong." Shen says, "If that's the case, we will find out." After this, she messages Gwen-tong and calls her to meet. Meanwhile, Li Shu and Han Sheng were telling Jiandan, "We have talked to the depression specialist doctor. You send your report to him." But she says, "I am fine. I don't need any doctor." Li Shu forces her about this, so Gwen-tong starts shouting at him, "I told you I don't need any doctor." After this, they both don't say anything, and she leaves from there. She comes to meet Shen and Jiandan and asks them, "Why did you call me here?" Shen explains, "We called to see how your health is now." Then they send Gwen-tong to order coffee on a pretext and take her purse to check the medicine, which is indeed vitamin C medicine, not depression medicine. Seeing this, they message Han Sheng so that he can tell them the truth. By then, Gwen-tong also comes there and then asks, "Did you guys really call me just to ask about my health?" Shen says, "There's something else, just wait a bit, you'll find out." In the meantime, a waitress comes there and spills coffee on Gwen-tong's purse, then takes her purse with her to clean it. Just then, Han Sheng also comes there, and the waitress cleans the purse and gives it back. They both tell Gwen-tong, "Show Han Sheng your bag." Seeing this, she gets scared. So Jiandan says, "We know that the medicine you are taking is not for depression, but vitamin C. You are fooling all of us." Then she forcibly snatches her bag and shows the medicine to Han Sheng. But it is depression medicine. Jiandan and Shen are very surprised to see this because they had checked just a little while ago that it was vitamin C medicine. Gwen-tong says, "I know you guys don't like me, that's why you did all this to me." Then she leaves with Han Sheng, so Jiandan says, "I can't leave Han Sheng alone with her. I have to find out her truth somehow." Then she also goes with them. Wherever Gwen-tong took Han Sheng, Jiandan stayed with her. They are all sitting on the beach when Li Shi comes there, so Han Sheng leaves with Jiandan. Now that Han Sheng is not there, Gwen-tong also starts to leave. So Li Shi tells her, "You should stop now. You should stop this drama." She says, "What are you trying to say?" Actually, Li Shi had discovered her secret. Realizing she was faking her depression, he secretly switched the vitamin C pills back to her actual depression medicine in the coffee shop to protect her from being exposed. But even here, Gwen-tong doesn't see his efforts. She says, "Don't tell Han Sheng about this." In the next scene, we see Han Sheng, who calls Gwen-tong's dad and tells him about her condition. After this, her dad calls Gwen-tong and says, "If your health was so bad, why didn't you tell me?" Han Sheng told me everything. "I have spoken to your college. They will give you leave. You will come here soon." She didn't want to leave, so she told her dad the whole truth. "I don't have depression." Saying all this, she hangs up the call, and when she turns around, Han Sheng, Jiandan, and Shen are standing there. They had heard everything she said. Han Sheng says, "So all that was a lie?" Gwen-tong says, "I did all this because I like you very much." So Han Sheng says, "I only like Jiandan, and I always will." Gwen-tong says, "What about Nan Yuan? Will you forget him too?" What happened to the three of us? Will you forget all that? So Jiandan tells her, just now you said you like Han Sheng. On the other hand, you are hurting him by using Nan Yuan's name. This is not love. So she doesn't say anything. After which they leave her there and go. The next day, Jiandan leaves Han Sheng and calls all her and his friends and discusses with them about overcoming Han Sheng's trauma so that he can also leave his fear behind and move forward. Jishan says, you are a psychology student, so we will do as you say. Jiandan explains, according to the book, a person has to face their fear, meaning if Han Sheng is afraid of water, he has to face water. Then Jishan gives an idea. According to this, he brings Han Sheng under Jiandan's window so that they can pour water on him from above. But they accidentally pour water on Jishan himself. After the first plan fails, Jishan makes the second plan himself. According to it, they make Han Sheng stand under a fountain so that when the fountain starts, his fear will go away. Han Sheng is standing under the fountain when he sees a coffee stall and thinks, maybe Jiandan will like this very much. He starts to go to get coffee, so they tell Jiandan, the fountain is about to start. You have to somehow stop Han Sheng under the fountain. That's why she goes to Han Sheng and starts kissing him, and just then the fountain starts. Then Han Sheng finds out about all this. He tells them, I am not afraid of water. I am afraid of swimming. And if I was afraid of water, how would I take a shower every day? Then Han Sheng and Jiandan come to his house to meet Nan Yuan's mom and dad. There, he finds out from Nan Yuan's postcards that his dream was to become a water rescue volunteer. After this, Han Sheng says, I have decided that I will take the water rescue volunteer exam and fulfill Nan Yuan's dream. Hearing this, Nan Yuan's mom and Jiandan are very happy. In the next scene, they both check their results after applying for the volunteer position, and they both pass. The next day is the rescue team volunteer test, for which Han Sheng and Jiandan are here. As soon as the whistle blows, all the other people jump into the water, but Han Sheng doesn't have the courage to go into the water at all. He remains standing there. The judge tells him, what are you doing? Why aren't you completing your test? So Jiandan comes there and says, he is not feeling well right now. You can let someone else go first. And she takes Han Sheng and leaves from there. At night, Jiandan is recording a voice message alone. She says, Han Sheng didn't jump into the water for the test, which means his condition is not good. I feel bad seeing him like this, but I don't know how to help him. She comes to her room, and Mi Fen tells her, tomorrow is her and Yuan Sen's 199-day anniversary, which they are going to celebrate. The next day, they are both near the beach. Yuan Sen and Mi Fen have decorated for their anniversary. All the others are also here. After enjoying the party, Mi Fen tells everyone, I have prepared gifts for all of you, which I have hidden on the beach. You all have to find them. As soon as they hear this, everyone immediately starts looking for their gifts. Jiandan tells Han Sheng, how can we be so unlucky that we didn't find anything? He says, you take a little break. I'll find it by then. Just then, he takes off his cap and puts it there, and Jiandan goes to the washroom. A little later, when Jiandan comes back, she sees some people saying that someone has drowned in the water. She looks for Han Sheng there, but she can't see him anywhere around. Just then, she sees Han Sheng's cap in the water. Seeing the cap, she thinks that Han Sheng is drowning, so she immediately starts running towards the water, shouting Han Sheng's name. On this side, we see Han Sheng, who had gone to talk on the phone. When he sees Jiandan going into the water, he shouts for her to stop. But she has gone quite far by now, and she couldn't hear Han Sheng's voice. After that, he gathers the courage to go into the water to save Jiandan, but he is not able to, but after trying a lot, he finally gathers the courage to go into the water. Just then, Yuan Sen and Jaishan also see both of them and come to save them. Due to going into the water, Han Sheng faints. When he regains consciousness, Jiandan hugs him and asks if he is okay. Then at night, we see Jiandan alone. She is again recording in that voice recorder. Han Sheng's condition is getting worse. I am very scared for him. I don't know if my helping to overcome his trauma is right or not. She is getting worried, thinking all this. In the next scene, we see that Han Sheng has come to another city for a math competition. Jiandan comes with a cake to meet him, but the cake had gotten ruined from coming so far. So Jiandan says, I have another surprise for you. Saying this, she kisses him on the cheek. Han Sheng also puts the cake down and goes closer to her and starts kissing her. Then we see all of them at Li Shi's cafe. They are all partying in celebration of Han Sheng winning the competition. After this, the scene shifts to Han Sheng and Jiandan, who are sitting together and are very happy. Just then, Tong comes to them and tells Han Sheng, I am going abroad, so maybe we will never meet again. That's why I want to tell you something before I go. Actually, it was not your fault in Nan Yuan's death. Han Sheng asks in surprise, what do you mean? Just then, we see a flashback scene when they had come for training and Tong comes to get oxygen tanks for them, but she picks up 2 faulty tanks and 1 good one. One of the faulty tanks is with Han Sheng and the other is with Nan Yuan, which is why Nan Yuan dies. In the present, Tong explains, I couldn't take full responsibility, so I kept all this hidden so that you would also share this blame with me. After this, she says, sorry to Han Sheng for all this, and leaves from there. After she leaves, Jiandan tells Han Sheng, now you should forget all this and move on. To this, he says yes. After knowing everything, Han Sheng's mental pressure was gone, so he says, now I will fulfill Nan Yuan's dream. Next, we see a scene after some time in which Han Sheng and Jiandan finally become water rescue volunteers. He had fulfilled Nan Yuan's dream, which makes them very happy. Han Sheng is sitting alone, looking at the volunteer's certificate and Nan Yuan's photo, when Jiandan comes there and hears Han Sheng talking to Nan Yuan. Han Sheng is telling him, now I have fulfilled your dream. You won't have any regrets now, right? Then we see Jiandan with Mi Fen in the room. Mi Fen is doing her eyebrow makeup because today is their graduation ceremony. Then they come for the ceremony where Han Sheng is giving his speech. After the speech, he confesses his feelings to Jiandan in front of everyone, which makes her very happy too, and she goes and hugs Han Sheng. Then all the friends take pictures of their graduation ceremony together. After that, we see everyone's couple life. Jishan and Shen live together. They fight and argue, but they are always together. On the other hand, Mi Fen and Yuan Sen's couple life is also going very well. They both love each other very much. Then we see Han Sheng and Jiandan. Jiandan says, time passes so quickly, doesn't it? We graduated so quickly. Han Sheng says, do you remember when we first met? You were a curly-haired girl always running around. She says, not me. You were the one running around. You knocked me down on the first day of college and then didn't even say sorry. Han Sheng says, many good stories start like this, just like ours did. Jiandan says, you're right, but now that you've graduated, you'll be busy. Han Sheng says, yes, I got a job offer from a company. HR has asked me to start work. She explains, Grandma wanted to invite you to the village, but maybe you won't be able to come. In the last scene, we see Jiandan in the village. It had been 11 days since she came here. Just then, her grandmother tells her, we have a guest coming today. There is nothing to cook in the house, so you go and get some fish. Then Jiandan goes to get fish. She is catching fish by the pond when she hears Han Sheng's voice. Han Sheng is standing on a boat in the pond and is calling out to her. She is very happy to see this because Han Sheng is the guest her grandmother was talking about. Han Sheng jumps straight from the boat into the pond and swims to Jiandan. Jiandan is very happy to see this, and with this, the drama has a happy ending.